What's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for tuning back in. It's Johnny Turbo, where, you know, I'm restoring my Subaru for us, so getting it back in shape, just having a good time. If you haven't seen my other two videos, is this the only one on YouTube? And did I buy that? Why don't you go check those out? They're pretty cool. There were some install videos, pretty cool. But this time we're getting into some nitty gritty, getting our hands dirty, and learning a thing or two along the way, which I'm kind of excited about. So, what are we doing? We've got a drive shaft behind me. Let's see if you can guess. We got a drive shaft. We've got CV axles. The exhaust is down in the basement. The car has 150, say 5,000 miles on the original clutch. So we're changing the clutch. Okay, I'm not gonna, no suspense here. That's like nonsense. Hey, so we're changing the clutch. That's it. So with that comes a bunch of things, and I'm gonna kind of just show you where I'm at right now in the process. It's a little difficult. The car's from New England, so everything is covered in rust. But inside, since we're here, the axle, the drive shaft have to come out, which is fairly simple. But of course, anytime there's bolts in a car from New England, it's not so easy. They're gonna be rusted. So this end right here, you can see those. That end attached to the rear end, and we'll show that when we get out into the car. So that had to get out of the way. The exhaust, the full exhaust had to get out of the way, so we can eventually remove the transmission. In that process, the drive shafts, the CV axles is one. I just kind of cleaned it up. You can kind of see. Let's see if we can see it pretty good, but I've been kind of cleaning it up, getting it ready, inspecting them, and getting them ready for reinstallation. But one of the boots are bad, so we're going to change that. We're going to re-grease it, and we're going to put in some new spring clips on it, and make sure everything we take off, we're either going to make sure it's 100% when we put it back in, or just replace it. So like here we go. For instance, the end of the axles, when they come through your hub assembly where your wheel is, they push through on the spline, and then they get bolted on the other side of the wheel. That's called the end, little end nut. So when you put them on, here I'll show. When they get put on, they get hammered down and dented. Right there, like you dent them down, and kind of locks it in place. So I just bought two new ones. So, you know, like that. I probably could get away with using it, but we're replacing everything we can, but just trying not to get out of control. All right, so try not to get out of control. Right. That ain't happening. We are out of control. So, all right, let's go outside. Oh, and so to get that transmission out, part of that process was, since I'm doing it by myself, I don't have any other hands, I had to get an engine hoist. I could have probably rented one, and I don't know, I probably could have bought a used one, but whatever. This was $180 from Harbor Freight, and it was able to get the engine up high enough so that you could tilt it back just a hair in order to get that transmission down and out. So let's check it out. You guys ready to see this? Voila! Oh, let's see that glory. This thing. All right, there's the transmission. Yep. All right, so transmission obviously is out. This is where the starter would go, or will go right here. Your shifter fork comes through here. And we got your shifter linkage back here. Still a little dirty. I decided to kind of clean it up a little bit. Just prep it. This is where the dog bone attached to when it's in the car. You can see on the inside it's pretty nasty. I decided to clean it up a bit. Everything looks in pretty good shape for 150,000 miles, 60,000 miles. Things in dang good shape. So there's a bunch of bolts, and if you're gonna attempt to do this, you're gonna find that having a transmission jack is going to be helpful. Having a hoist is helpful. What you got to do is get the engine and trans, these two surfaces to match up ever so perfectly, so that this little pin right here and that little pin and all the bolts can come off. If they're not aligned, you're going to be fighting it all day long. So yeah, fight it or get an engine hoist. This is where I was bolting it out. We got all the stuff out. Let's get it. Let's see some more cool stuff here, shall we? Okay, here's the flywheel. It's pretty heavy. It's not bad, but you can see, I mean, yeah, let's turn this thing around. It's too heavy to hold up. And you can see that thing. It's burned. But it's, I mean, overall, I mean, it's not. We got these flywheel bolts right here. There's, I don't know, half a dozen or so. I went, of course, I bought all replacement bolts, so pretty much all these bolts are getting replaced. Here's the pressure plate, and you can see actually the throw-up bearing is stuck on there. I don't know what's up with that, but I think that's why. Well, in between some of the gears, this last year or so I've been driving it, it's been hanging up between gears and not shifting, and the RPMs would stay up. And it's probably the culprit right there. This pressure plate, the throw-up bearing was getting stuck in the pressure plate. And there's the clutch itself. You can see it. I mean, honestly, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. You can certainly see I've worn down past all the metal connectors here, rivets. So I mean, obviously it's beat. It's 155,000 mile clutch, so not too bad, but yeah, not too bad, not as bad as I thought. So here's the little end nut. You can, don't mind all the rust on here. I mean, it's New England. That's another thing about doing this out here. If you notice, I don't really have a garage or anything, so the weather hasn't been great. It hasn't been cooperating. It's been rainy and cold. So I don't know if I picked the best time to do this, but I'm hoping to get it done soon so we can be on the road for when it's super nice days. So yeah, this is what's gonna happen to your rotors when you sit out. And I guess I could have bagged them up and done something, but we'll heat those up once we get this thing back on the road. We'll heat those up for sure. Let's get under the car and take a look under there and see what we got. Man. So yeah, and doing all this, I'm gonna say probably to get to this point where we're at right now with the transmission out. Speaking of getting the transmission out, the separation of the transmission from the engine. Not only getting those bolts out, the bolts are actually fine, and those guide pins were corroded, but some penetrating oil, they seemed like they were probably all right. But separating those two, and maybe it was the pins holding them on, was a pain. Actually, we can go look at that right now. What we did, I just used a screwdriver and a little wedge, and I just hammered it in between them two, and did the best I could without damaging anything. But to get to this point right now, it's probably been about 2 weeks. I might only have time every day, say maybe come out and just, I had when I got the exhaust off, I had time enough just to come out and unbolt that thing. And by the time I unbolted it and got it off, life was calling, and I had to go do that. So let's get under here. All right, so let's just. One thing that is cool though, I mean, once I got this down, I wasn't any happy. There was a time when I was worried. Did I make the right choice? But let's just look at this. No trans in here. I'll move back here. All right, we can stop. So right above here is the shifter. Right, we got the shifter linkage. I have a new bushing for right here. I think it's Kartboy. It replaces that rubber bushing. Looking at this, I'm probably going to take this out and sand it and just prime it, this metal shifter linkage bar. This piece is going to get repaired. This is all from what is this? I don't even know what this is. This part of the shifter linkage. That gets new bushings. And then we come back here. Here we go. Here's the flywheel bolts. Those are all getting replaced. That one just fell in there, but these are all getting replaced. But another thing, like I've said before, I like to always put the bolts back in where they came from right away, so I don't lose them, or at least when I go to put new ones in, I can verify that they are an exact match. So that's what we like to do. So once I got the transmission off, separated the two, unbolted the pressure plate, used a pry bar to get that off, unbolted the flywheel, used a pry bar to get that off. I could see that, well, I learned a few things. Here's the rear main seal, if you can see right in here. Right in there, there's a little seal, runs right around there. And that keeps, that's an oil seal for the engine. So if it breaks down at all, or if it starts to leak, you can kind of see, I've already cleaned it away a little bit, but you can see all down here and all this darkness. This is all the just dried up brake oil and goo and dirt and mud that was all in there. Not really mud, but oil and crap. So I'm gonna be tearing this out, which I wasn't planning on. I didn't really realize that was gonna be right there. So it's the kind of things you learn as you go, all right? So I had to order that, so that's on its way, so that'll take a few days. It would have been helpful if I knew ahead of time. So if anybody's out there doing your transmission, I would probably order, actually no, I wouldn't probably, I would definitely order a rear main seal. And this is an oil separator plate right here, and it's got all these screws, and there's a gasket in there, and it's, mine was also in the bottom of it. It looked like, now the rear main seal was really leaking. The oil separator plate was it was definitely dirty on the bottom of it. So I just ordered a new one, and it comes with all new screws. It was about $34. So new plate, new screws. We'll take that off. We'll clean the surfaces. We'll put a new gasket. We'll reinstall that and clean it all up. So, and I was losing oil between oil changes, almost a quart. So here's some spots where I was losing the oil separator plate, and definitely that rear main seal. The rear main seal was definitely the big culprit. That thing was disgusting. So we're gonna pull that off and clean that, and see what else. We got the turbo, is looking still good. I'm just kind of keeping things covered, but and while I'm in here, what else am I gonna do? I'm gonna degrease and clean everything I can reach, all the surfaces. I'm gonna get in here and clean and degrease, and kind of I also bought some rust encapsulator paint, and I'm gonna kind of just hit some of these rust spots, clean this up with the degreaser, get it somewhat nice, a little bit cleaner. You can see I might have to do a valve cover gasket on this side at some point, but I'm gonna clean all this up with some degreaser. This is New England, my friend. This is the rust you get to deal with. But I figured while I'm down here and I got the time while I'm ordering things, some more small parts here and there, we might as well degrease and fix some of that stuff. Oh, it's gone on the back. So we were looking at the drive shaft on the inside. Drive shaft comes down here. Let's see, it comes down, and here are those two attachment bolts that go through. I was saying that were kind of a pain to get out. It's on the center carrier bearing there, and you can see all the rust. I'm gonna hit that with some WD, and then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna hit this with that rust encapsulator paint. We'll move down, drive shaft. There was also a plate, I'll bring right here. There was this plate, you can see right here. Here it is. And there's this like a little protection plate, sits right there, probably in case your drive shaft breaks. It's gonna keep it from flying all around and doing a lot of damage or hurting somebody. So you had to get this down, and you can see it's got 6 bolts. Now you can see this one, this one doesn't even turn. Oh, there it does. Yeah, this one's got corroded. Every bolt was like this. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but that's New England, my friends. All right, so this is why it takes a long time. So I've been hitting these with I didn't buy replacement bolts for this. I'm gonna put those back in, but I've been hitting them with penetrating oil, and I'm gonna clean them up with a wire brush. They should be fine. Here's where the back of the drive shaft attached to, or we're looking at the inside, the 4 bolts. I am gonna put 4 new bolts on that, and we got the drive shaft up, the rear end out back, and that's about it. So that was about it. And of course, when we got the exhaust off, Here is one of the exhaust hangers, one of them. Spot, you can see that bolt. I'm replacing this bolt. But I mean, that's just like the things you fight with in New England. Here's one of the hangers. I mean, it's just the rust. I did put a new white line sway bar on the back. Heavy duty end links. And you can see every time you do something, you're going to be fighting with rust. But hey, I mean, that's why when you're going to do something and you're in there, taking that extra step in time to clean whatever space that you're in, whatever you're doing that work, whatever you're changing, it's a spot where you can reach and it hasn't been cleaned, you have to take something out. Definitely get in there and clean that spot because it's going to keep it lasting a little longer, not rusting out. That's pretty much where we're at right now. About 2 weeks or so of a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, to get the transmission out, the axles, the drive shaft, the exhaust. Figure out what parts I needed, order all that stuff. So everybody out there who does the stuff in a day, I mean, props to you. Yeah. It's difficult. Not difficult really. Actually, it's kind of fun. But so we ordered some bolts. What do we got? Yeah, I had to order some new things, and I don't know. Now I'm just waiting for some more parts to come in, and in the meantime, we're just gonna clean stuff up and get it ready. I'm hoping, I don't know, maybe next weekend we can start, or the next week we can start getting the flywheel back on, the clutch, and just start reassembling. I'm hoping it all goes pretty smoothly. I think I have just about everything. I'm waiting on that rear main seal and the oil separator plate. That won't be here for a few more days, so I'm waiting on that. That's kind of the one thing that's holding that little piece up, which I wasn't really I didn't really plan for. But hey, I'm glad I found out why I did. And then once we get these couple of things, we should be able to start cranking. Now I do have some other stuff, because it's another thing. Once you're doing this, you're kind of like, well, why don't I just do that? When you're a car guy or a car person, whatever you want to be, right? Whatever you want to be, it's like, it's all good with me, dude. So I do have, I'm gonna, rather than put on the other STI intercooler, I did get a little bit better of an intercooler. I got a Grim Speed intercooler. I have a Grim Speed, which is a manufacturer, Grim Speed air oil separator that I'm going to install, and it's just kind of going to be the reinstallation process of everything, so it's not going to be that difficult to put any of these other pieces on. Like, I already took the intercooler off. Why not, if I'm going to put it back on, why not put a better one on? You know? So that's kind of the attitude I take. You take it off. If you're going to take it off, see if there's anything else. If you can swing it, put something better on. So the intercooler is going on, air oil separator. I got some grounding upgrade wire set up, and it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait to drive this thing again. That is gonna be a great day when we set this thing down on the ground and get it and just crank it up and fire it up. So I'm stoked. Yeah, please follow, please subscribe, please tell your friends about this. Yo, check me out, dude. There's other people out here and they're doing their DIYs, and I love them, and because I watched a bunch of those videos. So thank you to all your YouTubers who've been doing those DIY videos, because I've been using them too. So my videos, I don't know that's necessarily a DIY, but you are gonna learn some things, and I think I'm kind of cooler to watch anyway. So I mean, all right, I'm a little bit more fun to watch. Come on, let's just be honest. But come out, check out the videos, tell your friends, see if I can get this thing up to 100 views. I'm really trying to get that 100 view level, all right? Set me up. And then hopefully I'm gonna start putting out quicker videos more often. And I think I'll just hit one when I get the oil separator and the rear main seal. I'm gonna hit out that video, boom. When I'm starting to bolt on the flywheel pressure plate and all that stuff, I'll make that a video. So I'm gonna try and come out with these a little bit quicker. If the weather can cooperate with me a little bit, I'll come out with much quicker videos, because that's gonna mean I get the car on the road that much quicker, and we can go rip it. Oh, here's as I look around, I did put on the this is like one of those. I mean, all right. So here's a little scoop that comes off of your scoop. You can see in there it's got like a little vent kind of angle thing, and we got this new air vent duct that is a little bit bigger, and it's made perfect to fit on the Grim Speed intercooler that I got, so it matches it. Not my archive innovation, is it really? I think they have pretty good accessories. So Picked this up used, which I've said, you know, is a good way to get things if you can. I happened to just be on Craigslist and found this setup. I got the rear sway bar, the Grimspeed intercooler, and the shroud, and also hoses and some other things with it for a really good price, like literally half the price of what it cost brand new. And it came from another Forester, which is really cool too. So we got this. This is gonna fit the new intercooler perfect. It's coated black. It's gonna look awesome. I cannot wait. All right, you can tell I'm a little excited. So again, thanks for coming. Thanks for checking out the videos. I'm gonna be coming out with more. Tell your friends, subscribe, hit the like button, do all that stuff. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Let's just stand back and look at this one last time. Oh, transmission on the ground, son. Oh man, what am I doing? All right, we out.